Namaste. The most ancient way of life, which is supposed to be yoga, has become the most relevant science for today in the modern world for various reasons. One important reason is that the health, which is supposed to be our own nature. In Sanskrit, we have the word called as yoga, health as the swastha. That means being myself is what is called as swastha. So therefore, my very nature itself is swastha, health. The second thing is, my very nature itself is happiness. That's why Shastras say, Ananda is our own nature. And the third important aspect is that our very nature itself is harmony. Not only our nature, the whole nature that you see, that there is so much of harmony in this nature. Look at a plant, the roots in the soil, flowers in the foliage and the sky, they are in such wonderful harmony. Roots do not know what happens in the sky. The flowers do not know where they get their sap from, but there is such wonderful harmony. That harmony is the health of the nature. The second important aspect is, look at the way an orange fruit, the seeds and the bitter seeds and the wonderful fruit orange, they are born together, live together in the same vicinity, share the same space, share the same blood flow inside, all that, and they grow to their fullness. The seed will not disturb the fruit, fruit will not disturb the seed. There is such a wonderful harmony. The moment that you remove that harmony, then that orange cannot live for long. So that orange health is that harmony. People say that why not we have also harmony? We are also part of the nature. Said no, we can't have the harmony because we both are like two different poles, opposite poles. But look at in the nature, the same magnet has both opposite poles living together. And you want to separate them, cut that magnet, again north and south pole set in. We have to learn from the nature to see that how we can live together, be together. This coming together, being together is what is called as yoga. So yoga is yujjate anena. That means this is joining together. Joining what? It's not the question of water and water joining. It is the objects which are of different nature. We need to be able to join them together. So that's what is the way that yoga is very important. In fact, children, they very naturally, spontaneously live that way. We were also like that. But as we have grown up, we have corrupted ourselves, we have come away from our nature. Essentially, our idea is to go back to that nature where we live in harmony and we live, health is our own nature. And another thing is that we don't go on a rat race for the sake of happiness. Happiness is our own nature. So this way that yoga has to become our way of life. This was there one time, a long time ago in this culture. But today, unfortunately, that it has to come thrusted from outside. Unfortunately, many people have interpreted yoga as many ways, like doing postures, doing this, doing that. They're all fine, but they're all tools in the field of yoga. But the spirit of yoga is where health, harmony, and happiness together. That's what is our nature. That's what we live. And this harmony we can have at the head level. When you look at it, intellect level, it always separates. This is good, this is bad. This is right, this is wrong. It not only involves, it also brings about the idea of competition, the idea of fighting between two individuals and all that, intellectually when you look at. Whereas on the other hand, when you come to the heart level, heart is something which is uniting together, bringing in this harmony. So this harmony, if we want to achieve in this particular society, global level, and that's what we require, more than the physical postures, more than these other activities, but the most important activity we need to have, the heart yoga, which is supposed to be the bhakti yoga. And in fact, the very idea of bhakti means where bhakti is a separation, bhakti is unification. So bhakti yoga brings us together, not only the human being, but the whole nature will bring it together. Another very important aspect is that look at the simple way that we are living in. My mind is not in harmony with my body. Mind says something, body says something else. My tongue is not in harmony with my stomach. Tongue says some more, stomach says no more. Where is that harmony? We have lost that. All this we have lost because that we don't have awareness about ourselves. The moment that we understand that ourselves, then the health, harmony, all these things will set in. Nobody is responsible for our health. We are responsible. Onus of responsibility of our health is ourselves. So once we accept this onus of responsibility of our health, then we see that we don't go deviate from this idea of harmony, this idea of peace, this idea of the health, and more important thing, the idea of happiness. We don't run around for the sake of happiness. Somebody said very beautifully that a common man, he works for the sake of happiness. A yogi happily does. That's a simple equation. That's a simple definition that we need to get back to that idea. Happily do it. When every moment you have this attitude of doing it happily, then every moment will become like a festivity, like a celebration. So this culture wants to make this life itself as a festivity. It wants that this life itself is something which is like a celebration. Everything we should be able to celebrate in this world, in this creation. So that is the idea of yoga. Karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga. You call it any instrument or any type of yoga. But essentially that all these things are leading you to health, harmony and your own nature. And that's what is supposed to be health. That's what is supposed to be yoga. That is what Patanjali has given the definition. Vritti takes you away from your nature. Vritti sarupya mitratra. And the moment that with the help of yoga, when you control the vrittis, when you remove the vrittis, free yourself from the vrittis, tatha drashtu swarupi avasthanam, then we are established in ourselves. All that what we need to do is that you remove that whatever that is taking you away from your nature. Mirror's nature is to reflect. And mirror reflects. Only thing is when the dust sits on the mirror, then it does not reflect. All that what we need to do is to dust the mirror. We are not creating the mirror. Mirror is always there. Only thing is that because of our wrong notions, wrong fixations, we have fixed up so many particles of dust on ourselves. Once we remove this dust, then perception becomes easy, like the way that mirror reflects. So removing this dust, removing that is what is the practice of yoga. That's why Patanjali says, yoga practice is not for you. Your very nature itself is samadhi. Your nature itself is samadhana. That means peace. Your nature itself is harmony. Only thing is that something from outside gathered on top of you, and that you need to remove, and that Patanjali calls it as klesha. So remove these kleshas, therefore that you can go back to that samadhi, which is your own nature. And Patanjali so beautifully puts it as klesha tanu karanartham. It is remove this klesha. Now a very simple way that we can remove our kleshas is that we have very beautiful aspect within us, apart from the intellect, apart from the physical body and all prana, everything. One more thing that we have is what is called as bhavana. And one bhavana that we are all born with, and that's what is love. Love brings us together. Love has so many varieties of manifestations. Our life is filled with that love. We have parents' love, children's love, neighbors' love, friends' love. Various forms it is there. Friends together it is called as sneha. And then parents you have shraddha. The teacher you have shraddha. So different names are there. Particularly in this culture, we have such richness of this aspect of love. Let us bring back this aspect of love in our every activity that you do. Any small little thing that you do it with that respect. Look at the simple way that we have adapted that in our culture as it is, the aspect of yoga. We don't think every day that we are practicing yoga. We are. The idea is that, in the Western culture we say, good morning. Good morning is very secular kind of thing. It doesn't make any sense. And that too, many times when I hear this good morning, I laugh at it. Because in the news TV channel, they say that breaking news. What is the breaking news? Terror attacked this place. And that happened, this happened, building collapsed. And so many people became rendered homeless. All these things. That's breaking news. After that, she says good morning. I don't know whose good morning it is. Actually, that is, whereas in this culture, it's such a beautiful way of addressing it. When you meet somebody, Raghuram Ji ki, you say, what a wonderful say. Or Namaste. That means to say, I respect you. Often we think that the children should pay the respect to the elders, but the culture promotes that you must first of all say Namaste to the child. He will learn from you. That's how basically a process of teaching. That means you are also Brahman as I am. So this way, mutually respecting, giving. Same way Jairam Ji ki you say, or we say Pranam. Once you say that Pranam, Jairam Ji ki, or Jai Shri Krishna, any of these things when you say, then naturally what happens is that person will not hate you. This person will not come to have fight with you. It's a beautiful harmonizing technique that we have. And this is there throughout. Particularly in this culture, we have one more practice that whenever we come across elders, we touch their feet. The very simple idea is that your knowledge and your experience is so much that where my head stops, your feet begin. This humility. Once you touch their feet, they can't be angry with you. You learn so much from them. The process of growth, learning, everything develops from that. This is what is the way which brings about one universe, one earth, and that's what is one health. And that one health is this harmony that we can create. And harmony does not mean you should be like me so that I can be in harmony. North Pole will not say to South Pole, you should also be like me, then only I can allow you to be here. No, you be your way. I respect your ways. But then we can together make it. You see, when we look at it, yoga way of looking at the whole universe is like, it is not 1 + 1 is 2, 1 + 1 is 11. We work together. Therefore, we can create a better universe. That's how we say that every other species on this earth make the earth better. Like an earthworm makes the earth fertile. A flower makes the world beautiful. A fragrance makes this world filled with nice, wonderful fragrance. And all these things can add something to make this world wonderful. Most wonderful creation of God, the human being. What is that we can add to this world to make it beautiful? By wars, by terrorism, by animosity, or by saying that I am better than you, competition? No. What we really require is real yoga, bringing together, bringing in harmony. Meditation is that you can develop that harmony from within, and once you be in touch with that harmony that's there within you, which will help you to see that you can give that harmony to the world outside. Let us try to develop that harmony with the help of yoga. It may be any number of practices of yoga, any names that we have today in the market when you go. How many different names are there about yoga? There are so many patented forms of yoga out there. Let anything be there. Everything is fine. Like the earlier days also, several sages have given several techniques. But then what is most important thing is, the goal is the same. The purpose is the same. Trying to create that we should be able to protect and create a wonderful, healthy, harmony life for the whole planet, not only for the human being, but all the other species. That's why in this culture, when we say it is the ecology, ecology is not for us a science. Ecology for us is a sentiment. We say that the tree is God, the river is God, the mountain is a God. Everything for us is something that is respectful, worthy. When we have that way, then we can understand that how we can spread the world, yoga, world spread yoga with the whole world so that we can give this world. Beyond all the religions, all the creeds, all the faiths, all the denominations, all those things, one thing that can help us to unite is this one word called as yoga. One earth, one population, and basically one way of life. That's what is yoga. Very important aspect of this yoga is that ever since this culture created, that yoga has been there on this planet Earth. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Arjuna asked Krishna, when did you learn all these things? And Krishna says that I have not learned, I have taught to the sun god before the creation started. When he says like that, it means basically this yoga has been there ever since the creation started. And it has been there all the time. When we say that this yoga has been there all the time and alive, vibrant, even today that we talk about yoga, much more than any time previously, it means basically this whole science of yoga is something which can adapt itself to the changing times. Don't have to say that, something has been given 5,000 years ago and we have to take it by letter and spirit. No, we have to put it in the anvil of today's life, today's world, and see that it is useful to today's world. If we cannot make that whatever that they said relevant to today, then where is the question of we are trying to force that on somebody else's neck, throat? It's not like that. It is something which can be adapted by everybody anytime. At that point of time, 5,000 years ago, Krishna, whatever said to Arjuna, relevant at that time, many questions that were there, relevant at that time. 3,000 years ago, Shankaracharya gave the ideas of yoga, relevant 3,000 years ago. 1,000 years back, somebody has given these ideas of yoga, reinterpreted, but it is something which is flowing at that particular time, useful to the society. 150 years ago, when people talked about Bhagavad Gita, like Swami Chinmayananda talked about, and all those things, it was relevant at that time. Thousands of people were inspired by their talks. But now it is already 100 years over. Today what we speak is something which should be applied today. I don't have to have any fixation on whatever I say. I should have that freedom to say that, yes, next man who comes can interpret to the next life. So that what happens is that the science will be alive all the time. This is what Swami Vivekananda said. It's the most ancient wisdom that we have, but most lively living wisdom. And this is said about 150 years ago. Already 150 years ago gone. But today you can see that the world over, yoga has been accepted as a science which they can adapt in their day-to-day life. East or west, north or south, anywhere it is there. It's uneducated or educated, or it is something which is troubled person or peaceful person. Yoga is something which can easily approach to any of these category of people, any of them we have offers. And the sages have been coming. Saints have been coming and giving various interpretations, various ideas. If the interpretation is something which is valid, naturally what happens is that it will be there. If it is not valid, the moment that person is gone, even this interpretation also goes away. Let's not worry about it. There are so many people have given the interpretations, but today we don't have that. We have some one Shankara here, one Badarayana there, and one Kapila Maharshi who has given us. So therefore that these people have given something which is longer standing. Today also that you give something, your people will like it, they adapt it. If they don't like it, they give it up, finish, it's gone. Yoga will not be lost, but that kind of interpretation will be lost. Let's not hold on to that particular interpretation, this is right. In fact, Guru is a concept, we have a very beautiful way it is there. I accept as a Guru, it is not a person. It is something which can throw light in a direction, I take that. As long as the light takes me in that direction, I go. If the light does not take me in that direction, then I don't go by that light. I'll go to somebody else. But many teachers are there who say that blindly follow. Please, let's save the science from this question of blindly following something. This is very logical because you see that this is the culture which has given us Nyaya Shastra. Logic is something supreme most several thousands of years ago. And we should not lose that today. And the most important instrument that today we have is our intellect. And intellect works on this logic. Intellect works on this interpretation. So let us try to work on that. Let's make this progress possible. Let's live a wonderful life of harmony and health and one unit, one human being. That's what our Upanishads say, Vaishvanara. One human being. Let's have that. Namaste.